What's going on, everybody? C4, welcome back to the channel, and finally, the worst kept secret has come to fruition in sports, and it is time for our realistic rebuild of the Green Bay Packers with Jordan Love as our quarterback. The Green Bay Packers and the New York Jets engaged in a trade that has been known about, it feels like, for like 2 months now, where they have sent Aaron Rodgers, pick 15 in the first round, and a 5th round pick to the New York Jets for pick 13 in the first round, a 2nd round pick this year, a 6th round pick this year, and a conditional 2024 2nd round pick that becomes a first if Aaron Rodgers plays 65% of the snaps. So that's pretty much a layup. How I interpreted that for this rebuild is essentially we now have pick 13 in the draft, a 2nd round pick this year, a 6th round pick this year, and I'm assuming and giving us a 2024 1st round pick. So we're going to have 2 1st round picks next year's draft. Plenty of big time draft picks to rebuild the Green Bay Packers and usher in the era of Jordan Love. I don't know why I assumed he had a star dev trait. I thought he did. So we got our work cut out for us. He's a 66, almost 67 normal dev quarterback. I like Jordan Love coming out of Utah. Thought he was solid quarterback prospect. It wasn't his fault he got drafted in the first round where he did and where he ended up. I think there's definitely a player still here. We saw a little bit last year. I think it was the game against the Eagles, where Jordan Love he played pretty well, all things considered, on an offense that, yeah, you got decent running backs. Christian Watson's a nice wide receiver, but like very limited in the skill positions. Like, we're going in the draft this year. I mean, why did they not do anything in free? I was surprised. Like, for all these post free agency rebuilds we've been doing over the last month or so, I just go through the transactions and I try to line up with the signs of it. Why aren't the Packers doing anything? Like, they have money. They are literally not doing anything. They didn't really improve the roster whatsoever. And it feels like, I don't know, was their roster in limbo because of the Aaron Rodgers situation? What are they doing? Like, they did nothing. They have added no big upgrades anywhere. And I'm looking at it like, you need a right tackle maybe, need a tight end. Assuming that, Romeo Doubs is your 3rd wide receiver. Maybe there's a developmental thing. Like, you need another guy at wide receiver. You flip to the defense. It's not as bad, but, you still need a defensive end on that front 3 to go with White and Kenny Clark. Linebacking core you feel pretty good about. You need a new safety. Arguably, you need 2 safety because Savage is not really working out the best. Secondary is pretty solid. Jair Alexander, Eric Stokes. You got Rasul Douglas, fan of the channel.
Yo, my man C4. You're one of the realest out there, bro. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Fly equals fly, baby.
Rasul Douglas. So, the defense is not as bad as the offense, but it's just one of those things, man. Like, are you just trying to set up Jordan Love to fail? Unless they have made this commitment that they're going to go all in on the offensive side of the ball in the draft, which is not a given. Like, hell, I've been doing mock drafts for the Green Bay Packers. I've had them go safety. Like, Brian Branch has been one of my top targets for them. But the more I think about it, like, the more it's like, you need to give Jordan Love, like, unless you're just going to hand the ball off 40 times a game, even though you got a very intriguing height, weight, speed wide receiver here in Watson, need more than that. Need a lot more than that. So, I mean, we're going into this draft, pick 13. We could grab wide receiver. We could grab a tight end. We could grab a tackle. We could grab a defensive end, a safety. Plenty of opportunities here. This is a big-time rebuild, but we are committing to Jordan Love. We started this. I picked up his 5th-year option. So we are going to have to develop a 66 normal dev quarterback into someone who not only can be a true successor to Aaron Rodgers, but somebody that can develop nicely, get his dev traits, get that rating up, and bring this Green Bay Packer team to another Super Bowl, and hopefully a Super Bowl victory. But the first thing is first, we are at the draft. Let's go improve this team. All right, we're on the clock first here at pick 13. And here's what I'm thinking. We have pick 13 in the 2nd round. We might. Can't say for 100%. But I kind of want to get 2 big name players. I'd rather have 2 1st round picks this year because they're known players. They're guys that we're getting excited about for the draft in a couple days time. I'd rather have 2 1st round picks this year than 2 1st round picks of generated players. So what I'm going to do is we're going to start in the pack, pick 13. We're going to get Brian Branch. We know what kind of player he is. He's going to be able to start for us right away at strong safety. High ceiling player. Lots of capabilities. And in my brain, how I'm mapping this out, I want to try to trade back up into the first round and get a tight end that I've yet to use in a rebuild that I think is going to be pretty goddamn awesome. And I'll show you that in a sec, assuming that we can pull it off. Psych! Never mind. Never mind. I wanted Michael Mayer. Now that he's off the board, I'm going to get the best receiver available. I think that's probably the best course of action here. So we gave up our second round pick that we got from the Jets, as well as our own first round pick next year. So we still have the Jets first round pick next season. But we're able to do that to get up to pick 19 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Always looking to trade back down. So we're going to have to wait, see what the Lions get. They go Witherspoon. I mean, we could honestly consider that, but I think our secondary is solid enough. Now we got to make the decision. Do we go with a wide receiver? And if we do, it's probably this one. Or do we say screw it and go tight end? My only question with waiting on tight end is, like, I wonder if Musgrave's going to be available in the second round where we pick. I feel like that might be wishful thinking, but if he's still there, that might be, like, the best move out of all the moves. Because right now it is kicking. So that's what I think I'm actually going to do. We trade it back up. We'll get, in my opinion, the only first-round grade wide receiver in this year's draft class, who we're going to need to up his stats a little bit. Total disrespect on his agility and change of direction. That's easy, like his biggest strength. Those should be in like mid-90s. But JSN, great player. And we're going to aggressive here. Move up 10 spots by throwing an additional fourth-round pick to the Seattle Seahawks, just so we can get Luke Musgrave at tight end. I know that they weren't going to draft one. A little bit worried, especially the Raiders trying to replace Darren Waller. Might not have lasted to us. We're getting a little bit close, so we're going to grab, hopefully, the talent-wise, a great fit for our offense. Luke Musgrave at tight end, an outstanding athlete with a dev trade. So a pretty good haul. Take a look at our draft recap. Almost everyone outside of our final pick was a 7. We got Hutcherson, Kendre Miller, Darius Rush, Braden Daniels. I got Keanu Benton here. We've used him in a couple of rebuilds, but we've always used him as a defensive tackle. In our scheme, I'm going to move him to a defensive end. He's going to play on the other side of Devontae Wyatt, which I think is left defensive end. Either way, I don't know if the rating's going to shift too much. He might dip below. Oh, 72 is not bad. We got Luke Musgrave, second round, 75 hidden dev tight end, day one starter. Jackson Smith-Njigba, 75 wide receiver, day one starter, likely going to be our wide receiver one. And we're able to get Brian Branch, the safety from Alabama, day one starter. Great value here. Good, couldn't have asked for a better start. I'm glad that we were willing to be aggressive in this draft, getting real prospects versus kind of just waiting until next year, because you never know what you're going to get. And this is an outstanding draft class from the Green Bay Packers. Now we are here, pretty good record, 5-3, sitting atop the division, and we got a breakout scenario for Jordan Love. So he is on normal dev. Hitting on this is actually very important. Borderline, like, I want to play this. 300 yards, 3 total touchdowns to increase his depth chart to start, just so that we have an opportunity to kind of speed this up. But then it's kind of the lowly 1-7. I like to think that he can hit this. I would like to think with this opportunity, Jordan Love against the lowly Lions, and we put up 46. Oh, let me see offensive play of the week, Jordan Love. Yes! He got it! That is all you could ask for. 300 yards, Jordan Love, straight up in the sim. Quarterback's usually a tricky one. Gets himself a dev trade, which means, with that pace, I think that's the second time he's got offensive player of the week. If we can put up big-time numbers, top 5, top 10 quarterback numbers, we might have a chance to finish with Jordan Love as a superstar quarterback. Now, we might as well look at contract stuff here. Right now, he's top 5 on the dot. I know that's just like the safe zone. He does for sure finish top 5. I think we are going to, he's going to be a superstar, which is awesome. Let's take a look. Can we upgrade him? It's a lot of XP. Yeah, we can. He's up to a 70. Nice. Ooh. Almost at this point, I think we just keep going with the best rating possible versus making him a scheme fit. He'll get there along the way. All right, yeah, just while we're here, because these other two big time playmakers for us. We got Christian Watts up to a 78. He's been solid. He's been, I don't know if he's been our wide receiver 1 this year. He lines up as our wide receiver 1, but I think Jackson Smith-Njigba is our go-to. We got Luke Musgrave here, tight end. We're gonna go scheme fit here. Possession also doubles up. You get some good blocking upgrades. Let's make him a little bit more well-rounded. as his dev popped as a star. But let's look at some contracts here. Week 11 of year 1. We're 6-3. Team's playing good. Might be better with Aaron Rodgers, but we're not going to act about, if they're here, if they're not here in the building. Guys that are here, we're going to try to win with. So we got John Runyon. We'll give him a 3-year deal. Bump that up a little bit. Maybe there's a little bit of Eagles bias because his dad was one of the best tackles I've ever seen play. Now, we don't need 2 running backs. Just the nature of the beast. Don't need them. Darnell Savage. I loved Darnell Savage coming out of Maryland. I know in real life might not be as good, but we are in Madden. It is not real life. And that's what we need. Now we got Rashawn Gary. Rashawn Gary had 5 sacks one week. He got NFC Defensive Player. We got 5 sacks. We are in a 3-4. If you, at any point, 5 sacks is usually what we get in the whole season when we're sitting with a 3-4 defense. The fact that he got that in one game, he's going to be an absolute pillar for this Packers team to go on and win a Super Bowl. And finishing out year 1, post Aaron Rodgers, 12-5 for Green Bay, winning the NFC North. Jordan Love was on a pace of being a top 5 quarterback. He finishes 4th in yards, 3rd in touchdowns. We might be able to pull the double. If I'm expecting, could be surprised, have been surprised before, but I'm expecting we hit that normal start of in season. His performance this year should elevate him to a superstar, which a lot sooner than expected for our success. But that is awesome. Aaron Jones was outstanding, 1,500 yards, 18 touchdowns. Receiving, Christian Watson established himself as a wide receiver 1, 95 catches, 1,400 yards, 14 touchdowns. JSN in the room, 96 catches, 1,300 yards, 15 touchdowns. The rookie tight end, Luke Musgrave. Rookie tight ends never have success. 88 catches, 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns. Even Romeo Doubs was fairly solid, but the big 3, you love to see that. I just really want to see this. I'm not expecting 40-plus touches, but as long as we're in the ballpark for years 2, 3, 4, and 5, this is going to be a great rebuild. I just want to see that consistency. I don't want this year to be an outlier. I want the numbers that we're seeing just be in the ballpark for the man. I don't want any, we've seen how many sims where this will be our stats this year, and then next year, Watson has 900 yards, you got 700 yards, 700 yards. I'm not saying we need a 3,000-yard receivers, but give me ballpark numbers. Give me a tight end that gets 60 a game, 75, close to 75, close to 80. Let's see that consistency, please. Quay Walker, Devondre Campbell, big-time tackle machines for us. Rashawn Gary was outstanding. 83 tackles, 13 TFLs, 15 sacks. 9 sacks from Kenny Clark. We got 6 from Wyatt. Interceptions, 4 picks. Brian Branch, the rookie, outstanding. Thriving immediately in the NFL. 3 picks for Jair Alexander, one of the best corners in the NFL. Number 1 offense. And he was the MVP. What? Don't see nothing there for the Jets. Jordan Love, in his first year as a starter, wins NFL MVP. Insane. Jackson Smith-Njigba, Offensive Rookie of the Year. There's a likely dev trade. Holy, what a role here for the Green Bay Packers. If there was a way to get multiple, he'd be an X factor when all is said and done. Rashawn Gary gets the top linebacker. What a season. You know what? I will walk it back a little bit in terms of wanting to see consistency. This is going to be a very tough pace to maintain. But I'll take all the success year 1 because it's going to get a lot of new dev traits for our squad that are going to help develop these guys so that years 4, 5, we're going to be peaking in terms of roster. Hopefully we don't go one and done. We got the Atlanta Falcons in the first round. Oh my God, it's a close loss. Number 1 offense in the NFL, only getting 17 points. That is rough. At least Jordan Love played well. Almost 300 yards passing. Outdueled Anthony Richardson, and we know the Falcons playbook pretty cheesy, but I'm not going to not say Green Bay is not cheesy as well. But when we have a sub 75 overall quarterback winning the MVP, probably a pretty good scheme to be a part of. That is annoying, given all of our success. Giving the fact, number 1 off. Look at those numbers. Look at those team ranks. Take a mental screenshot of that. I just want to see our team's not going to get any worse. This is the lowest rated our squad's going to be. In terms of veterans and guys that might retire or regress, maybe on the offense you got Bakhtiari, but everybody else should be a big time part of this rebuild for the remainder without any heavy regression. On the defensive side, same kind of deal. You know, we might see a little bit of regression there at Devondre Campbell. Kenny Clark's getting up there a little bit. For the most part, this team should stay the same. Those numbers, number 1 offense, top 10 defense, number 2 rushing defense, like just keep me in the ballpark. Don't need to be that every year, but don't give me next year out of the blue somehow we're fucking 30th in defense and we are 18th in passing yards or something like that. I want to see consistency. That the pace has been set. The onus is on this Madden sim to offer that consistency. Whew, it has been a minute since I've had 5 skill points from a single play. You know what? We'll do the fair thing though, and we're gonna pump these all into scheme fit. Might not be 5 additional overall, but yeah, this is your opportunity to close the gap. You always kind of want, I don't know, maybe it's just like a little bit of OCD, but I always kind of want my guys to fit the scheme. So we're gonna spend all these points here on Jordan Love into the improviser, which I mean, it's kind of, that's a broad one. You're getting a lot of different archetypes all in one. Let's go. I mean, obviously that +4 is going to be gone, but a 78 overall quarter. We started at, what was it, 67 normal dev. We finished 78 superstar and an MVP later. Like literally couldn't draw this one up any better. Outstanding from Jordan. I honestly thought it was going to be a slow burn. You know, we're coming off 2 rebuilds that we just did with another quarterback getting an opportunity with Trey Lance. Trey Lance on the Texans, we did that rebuild. Trey Lance on the Vikings, did that rebuild. Honestly, struggled to find success. It was a slow grind. Never really got a lot of crazy dev traits. Never was really in the MVP hunt. And it took all to year 5 to see if we got a guy. Hitting on this early in year 1, awesome. Needed it. Looking at the rest of the roster, we got some nice roles here. On the offensive side, we already know the success of Jordan Love. Aaron Jones goes from superstar up to an X factor with both Jackson Smith-Njigba and Christian Watson going from star to superstar off of their, obviously, big part in Jordan Love winning the MVP. I think Musgrave could have went up, Dev. It's very rare that you get 1,000, but I'm not going to be too, on the negative side. We got 3 skill position players of our 4 that went up dev trait. That is a win. On the defensive side, Rashawn Gary is up to an X factor. We did lose the dev trait here on Preston Smith. I think that's it though. Everyone else's dev trait kind of remained in line, so that's good. Now we don't have a lot of salary cap, and given where our team was last year, like the only guy that we lost that's a meaningful starter, respectfully, is John Runyan on the offensive line. We also are going to have to pay Jordan Love a mega contract extension next season. So I think while there's some interesting names, nothing like the only thing I was kind of thinking of was we could upgrade wide receiver 3. I was looking at Jerry Jeudy. Haven't used him a lot in rebuilds, but that's just, he's going to be he's looking for 15 mil a year, and that's going to be our third option. I don't really, that's kind of overkill, I think. So I'd rather sit on the sideline right now, have this cap, roll over to next season, and do our damage this year during the draft. I knew going into this year that third wide receiver spot was going to be a priority, so we did our scouting. I set all of my scouting to focus on wideouts. We got Jarek Franklin, who looks legit, A and 3 Bs. He is a physical 6'5", 220-pound wide receiver that ran a 4.3. So I'm intrigued. He has that elite jumping. He looks like a hell of a player, but look what else I found. A little bit beyond that, this is our guy, I think. Zach Pippen out of Michigan State. B release, A deep route, B catching. 4.3 speed as well. Elite acceleration, elite change of direction. Fits a little bit more what we're looking for, I think. Either or, one of those 2 wide receivers is going to be mine in the first round. That is hilarious. The Jets were the worst. We have the first rounder, the conditional first rounder on Aaron Rodgers turned into the first overall pick. I need to pay a little bit more attention to we're still going to go. You look at our team, we still need that wide receiver, but I'm going to trade back here. Get someone that's picking in the 10s. Can I pick up a future first? But it's the #1 overall freaking pick, baby. Let me see a 2024 one and a 2025 one. We get a 2025 one from there. 2024 right there. Okay, so the Vikings already 15 and a first rounder next year. That's kind of in line with what I'm looking for. The Falcons giving us pick 10 But, I mean, they're a little bit better of a sim team. I think right now the Minnesota Vikings might offer the best value long-term next season. If we're playing the game of trading future picks and trying to get high value like we did this year, getting the #1 overall selection, like, I wish there's almost a generational player here. But, yeah, we'll do that. I'll take that Minnesota Vikings trade within the division. First rounder this year, their first rounder, and a third rounder next season. Congrats. Hopefully they don't get someone that's insane, because obviously we'll have to see that guy twice a year. They got Devin Dane. Maybe we'll check the draft recap when all is said and done. But now hopefully sitting there at 15, maybe we'll move up to be a little bit aggressive. We get our top 5 talent wide receiver. So not only do I want to see what the Vikings got with that pick, like what do we essentially, trade and give up? We're going to go with the top 5 wide receiver, but that's not like completely fair to assume that this Franklin guy, he's 6'5" with 4.3 speed and can jump out the gym. We got to kind of trust our scouting and go with the top 5, because top 5, like that's going to be, he's probably going to be 76, 77 minimum. But this guy could also be special. So this is a tough decision for us to make, but we'll trust our scouting. We'll go with the top 5 player, 97 acceleration, 95 change of direction, 94 speed, and hopefully we made the right call. We did lose John Runyon, so I think this is a very intriguing looking player. Jaden Page out of Ohio State, 3 Bs across the board, and athletically speaking, very good. Look at that. Look at all the numbers. Hidden dev, please. Thank you. We can't lose, except in the first round of the playoffs. That's the only loss we've taken so far. And we just got another hidden dev on the offensive line. Another one. So we followed our first draft up that had multiple hidden dev players and was pretty much 70 plus overall across the board. And we had similar success. Whoa, I made that. That was a bad pick. Jesus. I didn't think it was going to be that bad. 69 kicker, 71 punter. We need to redo our special teams. I'll take that. Manny Knox, 72 hidden dev center. Page, 71 hidden dev guard. So maybe not the highest ratings, but still pretty good, damn good. And Zach Pippen, top 5 true talent in the draft. And you also get to view this as this is Zach Pippen in a first round pick is how we spent the #1 overall selection, which we got in the Aaron Rodgers trade from the Jets. Appreciate it. So 77 for Pippen. So the 2 things I wanted to see outside of our team is 1, wow, that is who the Vikings traded 2 first round picks for. Oh, that guy sucks. Oh, but like we hear word that this guy's gonna be like some generational pass rusher, and they get a bust, an absolute dud. So the top player, generational running back. I think there's a dev there, yeah. Victor Howard, 8th. I mean, we're not on the market there. We're happy with Aaron Jones, but I do want to see the other wide receiver. Do we make the right call? What are we stacking our guy up against? Zach Pippen was a 77, and the wide receiver in question, whoa. This guy, Jarek Franklin, 75. So give it up. Whoa, we made the right call. 2 overall points difference. This guy doesn't even have a dev trait. That's why you got to trust your scouting. This guy came back with a first round grade, and Pippen was top 5, and you always go with top 5. And you too, pretty good start. We don't know anything but being first place in the division with Jordan Love. We are coming off a pretty rough loss week 10 over the Chicago Bears, who are closing the gap on our lead. But I'm not too worried about it. What I am worried about is this contract. We are going to have to pay an NFL MVP a whole lot of money. But I think the slow burn, the development of Jordan Love, following in the footsteps of Aaron Rodgers, as Aaron Rodgers falls in the footsteps of Brett Favre, time is a circle, and we are stuck in that loop for Green Bay Packer quarterbacks. And luckily, it's working out for us because Jordan Love is playing like Aaron Rodgers, MVP, all those other things. Just got to find a way to get that Super Bowl. Look at the rest of our roster. Well, we should just prioritize the ballers. Aaron Jones was outstanding last year. Fan of the channel. Aaron Jones loves the C4 Madden YouTube channel. That's awesome. Get him sticking around. We run our linemen into the ground. That is a mantra of my rebuilds, and that is exactly what we're going to do with Bakhtiari. Getting it for 2 more years. We got Kenny Clark, underrated defensive lineman. And I like the fact that he wants to be here. So we'll give him a 3-year deal. And much like Bakhtiari, should be here for the meat and potatoes. Rasul Douglas, I'm not going to open up with Rasul Douglas, dap it on my channel, and let him walk right away. We'll give him a 2-year deal. Nothing too crazy. We got a little money to spend. That's just why we didn't spend in free agency last year. Eric Stokes, I liked him coming out of Georgia. Honestly, couldn't tell you a whole lot about, how well he's been playing. I assume he's been average to underwhelming, but I want to see if we can continue his development here as a starting corner for our squad. And then year 2, back-to-back divisional titles. This is something that was important to me as well. I want to see our ranks and see if they were at least somewhat consistent with where they were in year 1. Because we've seen time and time again in these rebuilds, it's just like bipolar. And I'll take this. Last year we had basically top 10 with the number 1 offense. This year, number 2 offense. So slight regression, but still generally very much in the ballpark, in the area code. So I'm happy with that first and foremost, on top of another divisional title. Take a look at our stats here. Jordan Love was a top, what was he last year? 4? 4th in yards, 3rd in touchdowns, 7th in yards, 3rd in touch. I mean, that's, I don't know. I'm not going to say outright he's going to get his X factor and go up a dev, but I did not see this coming. I feel like I'd see this more, right? Like, wouldn't you usually, I guess Jordan Love might hit free agency, but I feel like this cycle should be somewhat common in rebuilds. Like, Aaron Rodgers retires, Jordan Love takes over in Green Bay and plays like an MVP. I feel like we would have at least seen that before. Have not seen it like this. So Jordan Love, outstanding year. 1,300 yards, 20 tutties for Aaron Jones. 1,300 yards, 9 touchdowns, JSN. 11 and 12 for Watson. 877 and 15 for Musgrave. And Pippen, 771 yards, 5 touchdowns. What's that dev there? We're not going to get too greedy. He's our 3rd wide receiver, right? Didn't need him to be an X factor. He just needs to be a solid player that can fill the role. On the defensive side, Rashawn Gary, monster season again for our X factor. 17 TFLs, 14 sacks. We will take that. 3 picks, Quay Walker. Couple duos. Yearly awards MVP goes to Josh Allen, with Jordan Love coming in at number 5. I love just not seeing any Aaron Rodgers there. I don't care. I honestly don't care what he's doing. Zach Pittman gets Offensive Rookie of the Year as our 3rd option. So there could be a free superstar dev on a mid-rookie season. Must have been a down year across the board. That will be a win for us to take. Looking at the rest of the awards, no other individual winners. I think, generally speaking, that's kind of in line. I wasn't expecting a lot of guys to win awards. I wasn't even expecting an Offensive Rookie of the Year. That's a bonus. But last year where we did not win a single playoff game, this year the tides have turned. Now, the Minnesota Vikings made the playoffs. We have their first-round pick. We have 2 first-round picks. We have theirs, so it's going to be in the 20s, which kind of sucks. I'd rather they be completely ass, and that draft pick we got from them would be high. But we still have 2 first-round picks, and we can look at, if there's a generational guy that smells like a generational guy, we could be aggressive. But look at Jordan Love. 5 touchdowns. He is incredible. I'm loving the way that this is shaping up. We got the New Orleans Saints in the division round. Very winnable matchup. Jordan Love on fire. We're winning a Super Bowl. It's only a matter of time. We got Dallas this year. We kind of know what happens. But we are at some point, I guarantee it, Jordan Love is going to carry us to a Super Bowl. Not his best game here, but did enough to outduel Geno Smith. Here's our first real big test. We have the cheat code in the NFC. The Dallas Cowboys, who, this is the Dallas fucking Cowboys, man. I don't know. I'm not gonna say my true thoughts on what I think happened here, but Dallas in their playbook handle us. Yep, like that's ever gonna happen. Like Dak's ever gonna have a playoff game that good? Come on, even the most delusional Dallas Cowboy fan is like, if Dallas makes Super Bowl, it's probably because Tony Pollard went for $150 and 2 touchdowns. So I'm like, holy shit, they got Bijan Robinson. They got Bijan, Zeke, and Tony P. Overkill. I just spent the skill point here. Pippen's up to an 84, and he did get that superstar dev trait for getting Offensive Rookie of the Year, which is a sensational roll of the there hasn't been, outside of just winning in the playoffs and winning a Super Bowl, which if we won a Super Bowl in year 2, just super ahead of schedule, everything has gone the way that we want. I mean, you can make the argument maybe Jordan Love could be an X factor off of 40-some touchdowns, but at least that gives us something to try to accomplish next year, because we got Pippen, superstar. Musgrave, who probably should have went up to superstar last year, is superstar this year. Defensively, Jair lost his superstar. That's a little bit of a bummer, but I mean, dev traits are dev traits. He's a 97. I'll take a 99 normal dev, because the dev trait kind of loses its value there until you get to abilities. So, okay. That offense is looking nice. I wasn't going to do it, But when the player that's showing the most interest, if it was just red, if he had no interest, if it was even orange, I wouldn't have even kicked the tires. But the fact that we were max interest on Micah Parsons, I at least had to throw our hat in the ring. I have no, I was thinking honestly Pat Surtain, that with Jair Alexander would be unstoppable. Honestly, we could probably do the double if we wanted to, but that's going to make our team too super team. Even this is making our team too, our team's already ridiculous. But to know that we could pull one over on the Cowboys, he won't be returning there, and the fact that he was so interested in joining us in the first place, I had to at least see what you had to at least, shoot your shot, as they say. Shoot your shot, as you say. And we got Micah Parsons on one side, Rashawn Gary on the other. One of our needs is tackle. I don't know what a generational offensive lineman looks like, but giving me 3 A's and a 6'8", 300-some pounder, I think I'm gonna trade both my picks for a tackle. I think that's what's gonna happen here. So we're gonna sell the draft this year. We give pick 19, pick 30, and our second round pick to move up to number 1. I looked at the last mock draft, and the Bears were projected to get the tackle. I'm not letting that happen. I will give you all of my assets this year. We are so primed, especially with the addition of Micah Parsons, to make a run, but we're missing that S-tier tackle that not only can start this season, but also likely, potentially be the successor, at least be the tackle that steps up if David Bakhtiari retires at some point during this rebuild. So Tracy Fowler, 92 strength, athletically speaking, at 6'8", 330 pounds. I'm not expecting something absurd, but A, impact block, A, pass block, B, lead block, A, pass block power, A, run block, A, run back. This guy, I don't even know. I don't know what this is going to look like. I don't have a lot of experience drafting tackles top 5, but we're about to find out. And looking at our draft recap, 80 overall for Fowler. So if we're trading for a lineman, trading a whole draft to get a tackle, that's going to be plug and play. He's already almost a top 10 tackle at his position in the league. I think that looks pretty good. There's not X factor, so a superstar, I guess, would be the ceiling we're looking for. Maybe a little bit of bummer if it's a star dev. Rest of the draft, we kind of just, obviously we sold out. We sold out for the top pick, and that is worth selling out for, as long as that's probably something better than a star. So just a roster recap. Had a couple changes here. Fowler at right tackle, plug and play. And on the defensive side of the ball, let's welcome with open arms Micah Parsons to the team. That is our, oh my gosh. I feel bad whoever has to stop us next year. I hope we meet Dallas in the playoffs. This team here will beat Dallas in the sim. And it might be a little early to call it, but we are top of the division. We're 4-2 in year 3. We already know, and we've talked about it to the point that it's beating a dead horse. But year 3 is always the random year that if you're going to suck, you're going to suck year 3. And yes, we're coming off a close loss, barn burner, against the Cincinnati Bengals. But if there's a team that you can avoid the year 3 blues, if that's what we're going to call it, it might be this squad. This squad is so good. Looking at our contracts, $34 million. So now we're starting to get kind of in the tight spot of we're not going to be able to re-sign everybody. We're going to have to make some, we'll move on from Wyatt. We'll move on from Tom. We'll move on from Dobbs. Quay Walker's interesting. Watson is interesting. But Watson's played very well for us. It's one of those things, we have the depth at wide receiver that we probably could let him walk. But he's also been a legit wide receiver 1 for us, so I'd like to keep him in the building. Quay Walker, I'm not in any rush to pay him. Seems like he's kind of public enemy number 1 for Packer fans in real life. Kind of a dumb player, but a great athlete, a lot of upside there. And we'll keep him. See if we can continue to develop him. We wake up in the morning here, year 3. Look it dead in the face, knowing how many great teams have fallen in year 3. And we say, suck it. 13-4, third straight NFC North title. Elite. Top 10 offense. Number 2 offense. Top 10 defense. Number 8 defense. Looking at the stats, Jordan Love. Tom Brady's still playing. Jordan Love, very, very nice season. Don't know if we're going to be talking X Factor. That's really kind of on the checklist of things we can achieve. That's probably the last thing from a player development, roster building standpoint. He's getting Jordan Love up to that red dev. Don't know if we'll hit it this season, but we still got 2 more years after this. Solid year out of Aaron Jones. 2,000-yard receivers, great season out of Musgrave, solid season out of Pippen defensively, Devondre Campbell. led the team in tackles. We got 14.5 sacks, Micah Parsons, 10.5 Rashawn Gary, 9 from Kenny Clark. I think the interceptions could be more. Like, I'd love to see a little bit more out of Jair Alexander. No picks. Like, that's the kind of guy I have seen and have had success of him getting like 6-7 interceptions in a season. But it's not the be-all, end-all. Yearly awards, MVP goes to... There's your classic Chiefs overpowered 16-1, almost a perfect season. We're here once again asking Madden 24 to not be playbook based, please, for everybody's sake, please. Micah Parsons wins linebacker of the year. His first year in Green Bay, he kind of was a hired mercenary, and at least he didn't underperform, didn't underwhelm, and helped the Green Bay Packers here in year 3 achieve a first-round bye. We're going to be opening up the playoffs in the divisional round against, well, if you're not playing Dallas, you're probably playing Tampa. This is going to be again, we already know what's going to happen. They have a better playbook than we do, and we survived. We survived the year 3 randomness. We survived the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Wasn't a ridiculous performance, but good enough. Got the job done, and the 1 seed Packers have punched their ticket to the NFC Championship game here in year 3 against the 86 overall Seattle Seahawks. They're legit. We handle business, though. 38-14, year 3 in the Super Bowl on the back of a 3-touchdown, no interception performance. Jalen Hurts has found his way to Seattle with Tom Brady and Philly. Okay. But Jordan Love did the goddamn thing. We are in the Super Bowl. It is going to be the Packers going up against the Colts. Are we confident? Absolutely we are. We'll hop in, and we're going to watch this one. I'm not going to play the moments because it's only year 3. We still have 2 more years. We're going the full 5 here. This is our last fully fledged rebuild of all the teams. So we're going to try to get a little bit of a dynasty, but we're not going to hop in and manipulate anything in year 3. That's a year 5 tactic. Let's go, Jordan Love, balling. Don't touch that Super Bowl. It's bad luck. With the Colts standing in our way, it just seems like destiny that Jordan Love was going to follow this path. That, like, it's the way of a Green Bay Packer quarterback. Jordan Love still has another 10 seasons before he needs to go to the Jets, but he still needs to match Aaron Rodgers in terms of Super Bowls. He needs to match him in MVPs as well. That'd be kind of cool. But needs to at least match him Super Bowl. And our defense, that is elite, that has brought in Micah Parsons, gave up 28 points in the first half. Very frustrating. 42 points. My defense is loaded with 90-plus overall players. And we're giving up pretty much 50 points in the Super Bowl. I'm going to chalk that one up to it happens, and because it's year 3, and not lose my mind. But my defense should in no way, shape, or form. If I'm going to lose, fine. Our team's not that unstoppable. Don't just make my elite defense fucking give up like top 10 most points in the Super Bowl. Don't do that. Don't let CJ Stroud go for 93% completion percentage. Don't do that. Sometimes you need a little bit of a veteran presence sprinkled in via free agency. So we need a defensive end on our front 3. We let Devontae White walk into free agency. So I'm going to bring in DeForest Buckner to come play 3-4 defensive end for us. So I think along with the DeForest Buckner signing, like, that's a spot, like the front 3, that I kind of want to prioritize here in this year's draft. And there's a couple guys that looked interesting. We got Hugh Corbett, who we found out is a nice value pick. Double A's there on the block shed and tackling. B power move. First round talent. Likely will pull the trigger there. Nathan Basley also looked interesting. Second, third rounder. Double A's. C finesse move, C block shed. Pretty damn good athlete as well. Just don't have as much concrete information. What I would love is like a cheesy 360 pounder or something like that late that we know we can plug and play at nose tackle, but that is not always going to get what you want. So we'll trust our scouting yet again. 6'6", 320 for Corbett. The double A's, the B power move, the combine, his elite strength, easy selection for us. Hidden dev monster. Let's go. And that is, they got the wrong player profile pick for him. That is catfished. We got catfished. I want to highlight maybe another potential freak third, fourth round. We got 3 A's. A catching traffic, A catching, A run block. 6'3", 275. Just a weird build. Tested very well. You guys got to let these guys fall in my lap. I'm going to take them every day of the week. And a look at our draft recap. Really hoping those first 2 guys are... Oh, yeah. Corbett, 76 hidden dev. We did our scouting. Tight end, freak tight end, falls into our lap. We got a 70 corner here. Patrick Bright, third round, hidden dev. Literally outside of winning a Super Bowl and being able to like stack and win like 3-4 Super Bowls, this rebuild cannot go any better. But we are going into year 4. I think given how well we've built this roster, how well these guys have developed, how well they've all built chemistry and been able to achieve top 10 offense, top 10 defense, really, really want to get 2 Super Bowls. I feel like 1 Super Bowl, much like, I think it's fair to make the argument, much like the summary of Aaron Rodgers' time in Green Bay, probably should have more than 1 Super Bowl. So let's see if we can get 2 here. And it all starts with a nice season 4. I don't know if I showed the recap here. Fowler, the tackle will be traded up for. He's superstar. Also, Bakhtiari retired at some point. Not gonna lie, didn't notice that. So we're gonna take Fowler, who's freakishly good. We drafted him. Ideally, Bakhtiari would have kept here to keep running it back. You know, we're ready to win a Super Bowl, but he's getting up there in age a little bit. So we have a true successor right there, right away. We can kick Braden Daniels here at right tackle. He's a 78, so that's like not a bad rating. And I mean, at Utah, he played everywhere on the offensive line, so it's not outside of his wheelhouse. I'm gonna just make him a right tackle. We'll commit to him right now. So we got that going on the offensive line. But what I wanted to show you guys was this. So we, I don't know if you know it, we got a couple hidden dev players in this year's draft class. We did our homework on a 3-4 defensive end. Hey, what does that mean? What's right next to his age, huh? If you know, you know. Let's go year 4. Undefeated 6-0, and we got $100 million to re-sign everything that might be leaving the build. We got Jair, we'll get him on a 1-year deal, keep him for the remainder of the rebuild. We got Elton Jenkins, very versatile offensive lineman. Honestly, could have kicked him to tackle. Maybe he's being planned to be Bakhtiari's successor at some point. We're going to keep him here. We got Musgrave, who I made sure back in year 1, we traded back into the first round so we could bring him in. Didn't foresee him being that good and developing that nicely for us. But I'm not gonna be upset about it. We're gonna keep Razul here because he's a fan of the channel. And I'm gonna say, as much as I do like Darnell Savage, I feel like we might be able to make it. We have $46 million bucks. We might be able to make a splash or 2 in our final free agency period in case things don't go our way this season and it all turns into a year 5 Super Bowl or bust scenario. And of year 4, the domination continues. 15-2, our 4th straight NFC North title. Number 1 offense in the NFL. Number 4 defense in the NFL. Jordan Love might be enough to get him his X factor. It's kind of one of the last things on that checklist we've been talking about. Solid season out of Aaron Jones. Unreal year from Jackson Smith-Njigba, our first pick in this rebuild. 108 catches, 1,500 yards, 23 touchdowns. It's standing. Everyone else almost right on that. Like a chance that we almost had 4 1,000-yard receivers is incredible. Defensively, look at the monster season we put up. Micah Parsons, 16.5, 15.5 for Sean Gary, 10 from Kenny Clark. Corbett, our first-round pick, who's an X factor. Why not? Keep stacking them up. He had a solid season, made the most of his reps. Jai Alexander literally gassed him up last year when he didn't have any picks, saying, like, I've seen him get 6, 7. Got 6. He responded. 5 picks from Brian Branch. Was actually Brian Branch our first pick? I think it was. Jordan Love, runner-up for the MVP. Don't really care. MVP, let Mahomes have it. As long as we get him up to an X factor, that'd be dope. Offensive player of the year goes to JSN. Defensive player of the year goes to Micah Parsons. Another one. We almost won get rookie of the year with Corbett there. Quarterback of the year goes to Jordan Love. So we're definitely hitting on that X factor. We're probably getting X factor. So I'm going to assume, this is insane. Jair should go back up to superstar. We should have Jackson Smith-Njigba become an X factor for the first time. And Jordan Love should become an X factor for the first time. Now, after we gassed up my team in their individual success on their individual seasons, how can this all come crashing down? We're going up against an 85 overall team that is an 80 overall defense in the Minnesota Vikings. We handle them. We got the Bucks in the championship trying to make it back to the Super Bowl. 15-2. It is Tampa, though. We know what they can bring in the sim. All right. You're not going to find a better rebuild. You're not going to have a better role than what we had. And the fact that it has to come down to the wire year 5 to win a Super Bowl, pressure's on. And I can't believe it, honestly. We should have 3 Super Bowls in this rebuild. No way. The Jets won the Super Bowl before we did. Huh? Well, they don't have, at least, they don't have Rodgers, Kenny Whitfield. Oh my God, the Jets. This rebuild has gone so well. And it's the Jets win a Super Bowl before we do. Looking at our squad, closing out the season. Jordan Love's an X Factor. JSN's an X Factor. We did lose the superstar on Watson, which stings just a little bit, but it's fine. We have like $70 million of salary cap. So we can go out, get the best lineman available. On the defensive side, we'll go out, get an upgrade here somehow if they exist. Probably a new middle linebacker. Campbell's a little bit past his expiration date. Replace and upgrade Darnell Savage. Maybe bring another. I will go full super team mode so that there's literally no way we don't win a Super Bowl here. All right, year 5. We've done everything by the book. Outside of really signing Micah Parsons, everything else, we've drafted well, we've developed well. It's time to go super team mode, though, because it almost feels like that's what we need to get over the hump. So we're looking at Roquan Smith, X Factor Tyree Wilson. There's some big competitive offers there, so it's not a gimme. Paris Johnson, sliding him to right tackle. And Darnell Savage was the best safety on the market. Maybe look in the first round and see if we can get a ridiculous safety. But let's see how the cookies fall here. And who wouldn't want to be on a super team? It's the NBA, except it's in Green Bay. Said I wanted a safety. Got a guy looks like he's got pretty damn good safety. And for a year 5 draft, we just won a competition for Savage. 74, he's not going to be able to see the field. But still a really nice pick. We went this whole draft without drafting a bust. Generally drafted as good as we have in any other rebuild. So it's time to show our work. Year 5. This is all we've put in. And you know what actually I saw when I was doing this? One of our auto picks. I made the safety pick and I simmed it out. Nelson, we just got another superstar wide receiver. So even the computer is like, you're going to be a super team. No weakness on the offense. S-tier wide receiver. S-tier quarterback. Aaron Jones has been copy and paste top 5, borderline top 5 running back this whole rebuild. And, we replaced Bakhtiari. We even replaced Bakhtiari on the offensive line. Defensively, good luck. Good luck trying to stop this. We might go. It probably won't happen. But if this team goes undefeated, wouldn't be surprised. Oh, at least we finished with a top record, 15-2. Pretty good though. Pretty good. Number 1 offense. Again, the pressure's just on. Don't fucking we should be this good. We literally signed the best free agents, and we already were the best team in the NFL. So, looking at our stats, hopefully we don't run into the Cowboys and Bucks. Whoa! Whoa! Jordan Love, 57 touchdowns. Holy shit. JSN, 1,500 yards, 20 touchdowns. 1,200 yards, 17 touchdowns for Pippen. Oof. Whoa, that might be the most I've seen in a rebuild. Sacks are fine. Interception, 50. I don't know. Someone might remember. Better memory than me. But that is 2 MVPs for Jordan Love. Following the footsteps of Aaron Rodgers, he's doing that very successfully. Quarterback of the year. Congratulations to him. JSN, wide receiver of the year. I believe that's the second time he has had those honors. Looking at the career stats, because if this team falls fucking flat and doesn't win a Super Bowl, I would be so mad. I'd be so mad I wouldn't come back and reflect. Reflecting on what we've accomplished through 5 seasons. Jordan Love, 25,000 yards passing, 231 touchdowns to 58 receptions. He's taking over for Aaron Rodgers very well. Running the ball, 12,000 yards rushing, 116 touchdowns for Aaron Jones. Love seeing that. Receiving, JSN. We'll round that up generously. 7,000 yards receiving, 75 touchdowns. He's been simply incredible. 6,200 yards, 56 touchdowns for Watson, 4,500 yards, 42 touchdowns for Musgrave, 37 and 32 for Pippen. I mean, all these guys have played very important roles for this team. Kenny Clark, 700 tackles, leading tackler. Rashawn Gary, 80 sacks on 87 TFLs. Kenny Clark, I mean, we could talk about Parsons, but obviously a lot of that was done with Dallas. 63.5 sacks for Kenny Clark. Love it. Love seeing it. 23 picks. Jair, even though you only had the one big year for us, is what it is. Darnell Savage kind of went from like a question mark. 16 picks, all said and done. Not too bad. Brian Branch also with 16 interceptions. And here we go. The journey begins. Year 5, Super Bowl or bust. Our 93s across the board. 93 offense, 93 defense, 93 overall. Green Bay Packers squad. They have a chance to make history. They have a chance to be maybe the most overpowered team that we've had. They also have a chance to make history in terms of the best team to just fucking underperform and not win a Super Bowl we've had. What side are they going to finish on here? Now, we know Seattle got Jalen Hurts. Literally on my second monitor right now, I'm watching the Jalen Hurts contract extension thing. I'm ready to run through a wall. What a stud. My quarterback's better than your quarterback. Pains me to knock them on their ass here a little bit, but it's what you got to do, man. We have bigger fish to fry. 38-21, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Jordan Love, thank you very much. Setting up a juicy matchup in the NFC Championship game. The 1 seed Green Bay Packers take on the 3 seed. 89 overall New York Giants. My God, Saquon Barkley, 29 rushing touchdowns. That is almost as good as our 57 that we threw. 45-22, and all is said and done. We're running through New York. 4 touchdowns, no picks. Tua couldn't get it going. We started this rebuild with a trade with the Jets. The most talented quarterback in the history of the Green Bay Packers gets traded to the Jets. We get multiple first-round picks. One of our first-round picks from the Jets ends up being the first overall pick. To the Jets winning the Super Bowl last year before we had any real sniff at it. To year 5, Super Bowl or bust. All on the line, all or nothing. The Jets beat the Chiefs to get here. It's destiny. Jets versus Packers. 2 old-ass iconic franchises. I gotta look at the roster. How are they this good? Back-to-back Super Bowl appearances for the Jets. They got Whitfield, who's a 90 overall quarterback. Breece Hall, 98. Garrett Wilson, 96. Something known as a Carl Carruthers, 93. Conklin, X-Factor. I mean, he's an 83, but he's an X-Factor tight end. Offensive line, they got Skoronski, 90. Joe Tippmann, AVT. Mekhi Becton still there. Defensively, 91, Franklin Myers. They have this. Remember, Baisley, he was a guy that we thought about drafting 2 years ago. He's solid. Quinton Williams, 99. 84, 95, 84 linebacker. No real. Sauce Gardner's locked down. A lot of depth to that secondary. Safety room, Daxton Hill. Okay. They're a damn good team. No real. This is going to be. If we lose, it's bad. But at least we're losing to a team that's like equally insane. So let's see what happens, man. All or nothing. Super Bowl on the line. Green Bay, New York. Perfect finale. Let's make sure it's a storybook ending. We saw their team. They saw our team. They've won the Super Bowl. We've made the Super Bowl and lost the Super Bowl. It is the defining moment for 2-time MVP Jordan Love. With an elite defense that has been built for playoff success. We get strike first, 7-0. New York, touchdown, turnover from Green Bay. We're at 14-14. I definitely need to hop in at some point. I think that's 2 turnovers from our offense, uncharacteristically. I want to see if we can get a score here. I'm going to make my screen here on my end, full screen. Get a score here and go into halftime tied up at 21. What do we got? Where's Pippen? Pippen got ridiculous speed. JSN at the top. Who wants to get open? Oh my God, JSN. As long as we lost that safety, that's floated in nicely. Could have been a better throw. Jordan Love, 2 interceptions. That is not what you want to see from a 2-time MVP. 2 picks in a Super Bowl from the guy that you need to be able to rely on. Kind of sucks ass, but it is what it is. 3rd and 1. We'll throw it right into JSN. That 97 agility on full display, getting wide is just so difficult to cover. And we're going to go into halftime tied at 21 apiece. Open up the second half. Looks like we are first to strike, first touchdown, 28-21. Our defense pitches a shutout. They get a touchdown open on the 4th. We instant Tutty to reply. 35-35. This game is shaping up to be an all-timer. I'm not going to play this whole drive, but I'd love to get them this first down to keep the drive going. I know where I'm looking right away. It is going to be avoiding Sauce Gardner and going to Jackson Smith and Jigba. Or we'll go to the tight end, the backup tight end, Green. Breaks a couple tackles, gets us into field goal range. Timeout, Jets. Come on, fellas. 43 seconds. We make the field goal. 29 seconds to go. Super Bowl on the line. And in an incredible matchup, the two best teams in the NFL go toe-to-toe, and Jordan Love, year 5, after winning a second MVP, 57 sim touchdowns later, is a Super Bowl champion. Equals Aaron Rodgers. And who knows? We play as long as Aaron Rodgers. Honestly, same career path potentially. But in a perfect matchup for today's video, this is as good a rebuild as I've had all year. This stacks up with any of the other, we had probably, 60 rebuild videos for Madden 23. This one here stacks right up with it. For the team that we've built, for the hits that we got while drafting, to the success of just straight up Jordan Love's a badass, I guess, in Madden 23. I had no complaints. This was a perfect rebuild. I hope you guys enjoyed. If it is your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. Probably hitting pause a little bit on rebuilds for the remainder of this week. And maybe the fallout from the NFL draft. Obviously, some of these surprise moves will definitely give us some interesting rebuilds. The new quarterbacks and their actual official landing spots. So there's going to be some rebuilds based off of the draft. But nothing else until that point. Let's just savor Jordan Love. 5 touchdowns in the Super Bowl. That's awesome. So thank you guys very much for watching. Like, subscribe, all that cheesy YouTuber stuff. But more importantly, I appreciate you guys for tuning in the video. And I'll see you back on the next one. Till then, it's your boy C4 saying peace out. Love ya. Have a good one. See you back here on draft night, on Thursday night. Live stream. We'll have a good time. We'll kick it. I'll see you then. Peace out.